All right. So quick recap what we have been doing so far. After learning building master data, learning configuration, etc., we subsequently started with the production planning steps within the PPDS horizon. Right. So we yesterday we tried to input some sort of requirements, demand supply, and on top of that we tried to execute. We tried to do MRP, followed by we try to do advanced planning, that is MRP or heuristic onto PPDS. Anyone can be chosen, but 90% times it will be PPDS heuristic that should be chosen, because ultimately while somebody implements S4 HANA, they are going to move on to S4 HANA, and so would be moving on to advanced MRP. So if you are running advanced MRP on S4 side, it is going to run heuristic on PPDS anyways. Okay, we will understand other details which are like source of supply determination, pegging, etc. On the product view transaction and on the heuristic as well. Okay, and today our job, our sorry, not job, our task or target as well is to start with the detailed scheduling portion of it, because it is going to take substantial time henceforth. Okay, before we begin, is there anybody who tried to do something on system yesterday?
Yeah, I tried creating, one material, trying to
Mhm.
transfer it to PPDS, but I had some errors saying that the planning. Uh, wait, I'll just check.
So during transfer, you faced an error, or during running some plan on that?
No, during transfer itself, while I was trying to, in advanced planning view, I was trying to mark
Uh,
it for advanced planning, and that was fine. But while saving, I was not able to save it
so
properly,
what
and I
is your
was
product?
getting.
Do you
Okay.
remember the product name?
Uh, it was SG something 129. I don't know,
129.
or
Okay.
something like that. I tried with
24.
a couple of materials, and I was getting the same error. Yeah, you can try with
Hmm.
this one also, I think.
Okay, let's try with SG 124 and advanced planning. Which plant was it? 1710 or some
Yeah, it
other
was
plant?
1710 itself.
Okay, so there is no advanced planning setup here, right? So you can verify if you go to a PPDS MAT1 and try to see whether the product exists. Of course, it does not exist because there is no advanced planning,
Hmm.
so it does not
Yeah.
exist. Now go back, set advanced planning, and press enter. So it gives you a warning message. Was this the error that you thought it's an error, or something
Yeah,
else?
I got the
The
same
one,
thing, but I was still not able to save after this.
yeah. So you have to press enter one more time. After entering two times, it converts that non-active for advanced planning to active for planning. See, I'll go back and do it one more time. I haven't saved it. So if you go to MM02, okay, select
Hmm.
advanced planning 1710. So originally it is not relevant for planning. It means it
Yeah.
is not a PPDS material. So you set this,
Hmm.
press enter. So it gives you warning that planning procedure, proposed strategy are
Yeah,
defaulted.
default.
So it's just a
Hmm.
warning thingy, right? It's not error. Press enter one more time. So it changes that, yes, boss, it is active for planning, and now save it.
Uh, okay, let me try because I think I tried it, but it was
So
sure. Okay, I'll try
it's done.
again.
And check, it's already
Mm.
there in PPDS now. So but however, trying
Mhm.
things by own hand actually give you this kind of perspective. So good that you tried. Parallelly, you can try for another material and ensure that this is done and dusted for you. In future, you
Mm.
should not face this kind of issue. Others will face. I can give you in return because they are not trying.
Hi, sorry for joining late,
Hey,
little late.
sure. Okay.
Yeah, I actually tried and I have done till transferring of PDS.
Okay, perfect. So now you're already set for running your heuristic or detailed scheduling along with me, right? Parallelly.
Yes.
I'll guide you. I'll guide you. Don't worry. I mean, if you just go to RRP3 with whatever product you have got, okay, just like this product I transferred, okay. So you can try to enter any, I mean, go to change mode and try to enter any demand. So demand as in say 10, 10, 10, 12, 20, 23. And if you enter something in negative, that becomes a forecast. That becomes a demand element. That's it. Just have to save and run a heuristic out there. Okay.
Before that, I have a doubt.
Hmm. Yep.
So while I was transferring it using change transfer method, so it was giving me error and SLG1 log that it after I uh, changed the checkbox to complete transfer, as you had explained in one of the sessions
You mean
that
PDS transfer? You're talking about
yes,
PDS
for
transfer,
the
right?
first time, yeah, for the first time when you are doing you were doing, so you selected absolute
Absolutely.
transfer. But
That's right.
with change transfer, I don't know why it gave SLG1 log error.
This was it. Okay, let me see. By the way, logs is on my radar. So for others who do not know about it, but it was yesterday or today. You're trying
Yesterday,
yesterday. Okay, and what's your ID? By chance you remember?
for 14. Let me check
Okay,
once.
that's fine. I'll find it out. So it should be S4 PPDS 14, is it?
Yes, yes.
Okay, and let's check your logs from yesterday. Oops. This is a transaction which loads any kind of log. So okay, this is like S4 PPDS 14. That is why very difficult to find any log. So yeah, you have a log, but basically it's not an error. You see the orange color says it is a warning, and the warning says that the location already exists. So you perhaps did not get SLG1 log during PDS transfer, but you got during transfer of the location, and it already existed, so it gave you this error warning.
Okay. Can you change the date to 18 once?
Uh, 18 is today, huh? No, 18 is when is 18? 18 is tomorrow, right? Oh, today is 18. So why this guy shows 1710? I don't know. This server, yeah. So see, this is your thingy, right?
Yeah,
So it's
for the
successfully
second one
transferred.
is that was second one, but first one I got error.
Okay, so
Like,
this is actually technically not an error here, but
okay,
it may not have found anything to be transferred basically. That is why it just created a message. This is a message. This is neither a warning nor error.
yeah, the
Okay,
first one I tried with the change transfer method.
exactly. So
Second
perhaps
one, mhm.
so you were doing the first time transfer or after transfer you tried the change transfer.
No, first time when I was trying to transfer.
Exactly. So see, when we jot down these jobs, right? We listed down the job schedule, correct? So there is this data transfer job also, master data transfer, correct? So in this case, when first time the integration is happening, you have to do absolute transfer. But afterwards, we have to schedule a job for change transfer on day-to-day basis because just don't want to transfer every PDS every now and then. So basically, if you just do a change transfer like this, then it does not transfer the PDS in case it does not exist because it just tries to see the differences. So that is a flaw also. I am with you. Logically, in the change transfer, it should still send a PDS if it does not exist in the target system, but it doesn't do it. I've seen this happening earlier. So it's a small step. You just need to go and do the delta transfer. So for example, I'll now go for the material that I am using FG129 1710. The PDS for this one is already transferred. Okay. Now let me go for change transfer. The PDS is already transferred, and afterwards I haven't changed anything on the production version. So the execution will tell me that no transfer relevant data found. And it would have created some message in the SLG1 also perhaps, right? Because in this case, the PDS does exist already. Okay. And there is no difference. But first time while you are doing, ideally the PDS doesn't exist, so it means that it is like a total change, right? So it should have transferred, but it doesn't do it. You need to do absolute transfer first time. Just a minor change in sequence of steps that you execute, not a very big deal, right? Okay.
But the only concern is with absolute transfer, uh,
Hmm.
there may be some other data that may get transfer, or is it not like that?
With absolute transfer, there may be, okay. So your concern is in case, say, you are not giving a product, say
Yes.
star products and 1710 as a plant, and you are
Mhm.
every time doing an absolute transfer. Okay.
Mhm.
So it, uh, what kind of issue you anticipate is like some other products are also changed and
Yes.
you are,
Yes. Yes.
but
Yes.
still doesn't matter. Actually, the mechanism is in place that in case, say, there is a product A where there are 10 orders and the orders are using the PDS already. Now you're doing an absolute transfer one more time. So there is no change on that PDS for A, but there are orders, right? So it will transfer the PDS again because it's absolute transfer, correct? But still it automatically assigns back the same PDS name along with the order. So there is no, technically no effect, no side effect happens. Say, okay, what I mean is if you go to RRP3, okay, so let's go to that material. Now we have got a plan order here, 5135, okay, or 5134. If you go inside this plan order, it is based on this PDS. Okay. Now you look at everything out here, the PDS, etc., the component demand and the operations on top of it. Everything is as it is. Okay. Now what I'll do it absolute transfer for PDS of this guy, and we'll see whether there is any change happening on the order. Okay. Sometimes it is good to directly do the experiment because few scenarios you may not have tested, so you can tell directly, correct? So we are doing an absolute transfer. Okay. All right. So it just did a transfer of the same PDS for same material one more time and refresh out here. So after refresh, the plan order remained the same. The date of the plan order remained the same. Nothing happened. And on top of it, the PDS is selected as it is and everything is as it is. Okay. So what does it mean? It means that if there is an order on the PDS which is already created with the help of the PDS, so what reflection this PDS will bring on the order is what are the operations within the order and what are the dependent demand within the order. That stays as it is. So for example, for some reason, this PDS got changed. You did an absolute transfer and the PDS got changed. Something happened and the PDS got changed in PPDS. Still, if there is an order based on the older version of the PDS, it would remain as it is unless you do re-explosion of bomb with the help of the changed PDS. So your PDS might change. I agree. In case you're doing absolute transfer for all the products, for some products the PDS might change, but it does not affect your plan orders which are existing on the PDS. That is why operationally there is no side effect. In fact, it is good for the system. Why? Because you are trying to keep both the systems in sync, S4 and IBP. Correct. However, logically speaking, if there is a change on any of the PDS, which is say I'm doing a star transfer, there is a change on other 10 PDSs which I do not intend to do a absolute transfer. However, if you do a change transfer, still that PDS will change in PPDS, isn't it? So it's the same thing. When you do absolute transfer versus the change transfer, the only difference between them is that absolute transfer will transfer all the PDSs. So whether the change has happened on the PDS or not, change transfer will change the PDSs where there is a change in the S4 system. Okay. So both of them mean the same. In fact, if you do this, it is performance intensive because if there are 100 products, it will transfer 100 PDSs. In contrary, change transfer will transfer only 10 PDSs. So you are unnecessarily transferring 90 PDSs in the absolute fashion. But as long as the performance doesn't matter to you or the time that the job is going to take doesn't matter to you, it has no side effect on the operational side. Both of them have the same effect for the PDSs which are changed. You are not convinced, or are you?
No, I get it.
Okay. Or we can talk after the session also one more time about it. Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. So is there any other doubt that somebody? encountered yesterday? If not, then we have to continue with the product view and heuristic and source of supply part. Okay, but before that, I'll take a small filler. Okay, filler is the topic which is out of context, not in context with what we are doing now, but it is in conjunction with that. Okay, so I'll take up some fillers before starting going back to PPDS. The fillers are tables in PPDS, order key, order map, inconsistent order deletion. So all those things. Okay, basically I am putting up these fillers. They are generic SAP things. Okay, they may not be 100% PPDS relevant. They are generic SAP things, so they help you to be a faster consultant in terms of analysis. So my fillers today are tables. Okay, picking area is a separate filler, so let me put it at the bottom. Okay, so tables in PPDS. So basically what we do, or what in general a consultant tries to do, is go to one single transaction for doing analysis, say RRP3 that we have been using. In RRP3 what we see, we provide a location, a product. Okay, a single location and a single product, and look at the data. Now it is able to give me data of everything that's there. It means all the demands, all the supplies except the safety stock which is not there, but there will be stock, sales orders, the horizons, etc., etc. You can do your analysis for a single location product from the screen, right? But you cannot do mass analysis. There is mass in the sense you cannot provide more number of products here, correct? And it is very difficult to perform analysis with only a single transaction like this. So SAP has provided us some other transactions, other tools which we would be checking more in the last towards the end. But just to give you a glimpse of it, there is one transaction called RRP1 and RRP4. What we are checking now is RRP3, that is the product view. But if you go to RRP1, this is called as requirement view. So in this view, you specify some particular date, specify the plant if you want, and maybe put star. For a plant also you can put star, or you can provide multiple product locations. If you are going to check the requirements, okay, so the requirement can be a sales order or a sales order or a forecast, correct? Requirements are that way. However, the requirements can also be purchase requisition requirement, because in case my plant, my DC is sending a purchase requisition to the plant, it becomes a requirement for the plant. So in that case you can specify what is the source or target of that requirement. Based on that also you can filter here. If it is a PREC, and if I'm checking at the plant, then the source of that requirement will be my 1510 plant in my current context. So I could have specified that. If you're going to check some dependent requirement and so on, then what resource or what planner is raising them, that kind of filtering you can apply. Similarly, in the other tab, you can specify what requirement you want to check specifically. Do you want to check transfer within the plants, or project order based requirements, or in-house productions requirement like dependent demands, correct? Or sales order requirement. So such thing you can specify. In general external procurement, if you specify, all the purchase requisition requirement would be shown. If you specify in-house production 1F, that would just deal with requirements generated by in-house production. So there are various filtering criterias, but many times we just want to see all the requirements. So I am now doing checking of all requirements for my 1710 plan at star and execute. Okay, only for 1 month. Okay, unfortunately I gave just 1 month, so we do not have anything during the month. Okay, so I have to increase my scope of duration. Good part of this transaction is whatever you have inputted, even if you exit and come back, it tries to retain that thing, the old execution part. I think there is some good type of buffering a Vapor has applied, so it retains. Okay, let me execute this guy. So now it is showing me all the requirements for all these products, and see HG29 and so on and so on. So let me just sort it according to the product name. So FG129 has two forecasts, and RM20, SG29 have got two dependent demands. So these are all requirement elements. You understand the difference between a requirement and receipt, I suppose now. Requirement has a negative quantity. So with this, you are very well able to do a lot of analysis. Okay, what are my total requirements, and even what your PPDS planner does usually is he would go to this transaction and see that in the current week how much is my total requirement coming to my plant. And then there is another view in parallel which shows receipts view, where all the receipts are shown. So he would see that in this week for all the materials I have got 1 million tons of requirement, and what is my receipt? That will be say 780 thousand kilogram, something like that, right? So he would immediately get the idea that I am falling short by 240 or so and so. Correct. It's like that. So here, what do you see? Date, the type of requirement, the product, and there is a target and source. See, for a forecast, yeah, this is strange. So this forecast is directly created for FG129 at 1710. So there is no source and target, but the other forecast element is coming from S4, where it is created as a purchase plan independent requirement. So it shows target and source as well as the same plan. If you check the dependent demand, it also shows source and target as exactly same plan. Why? Because there is no purchase requisition demand. If I would have created a purchase rec, so let me do that. If I go back to RRP3, and for the same plan we have set up the T lane from 1510, right? What was my plan, other plan? Do you guys remember? Or in this system we haven't set up, I don't know. It was 1510. So 1510 is non-existing, it says, huh? Okay,
I I
perhaps.
think that
Yeah,
is because I think that was on 400 client.
400. Okay, so I can quickly transfer it, create a D lane, and demonstrate that part also. So what is the transaction for? Create location, right? SAP POW. Okay, I just no locations created. Why, Baba? So okay, perhaps 1510 does not exist at all. Okay, so let me see what from 15 does exist, and I'll pick up that one. Nothing from 1510. So okay, let me see anything from 17 except 1710. Okay, so let me check any plant. See, this is as quick as this. So very strange that this complete system has just one plant. How come it's possible? Just 1710. Is it T001W is the table for plants, and just three plants in this entire system, in S4. Okay, we're still okay. So I'll pick up this 0003 plant. Okay, and I hope that this must be existing in PPDS. So go back to, I don't know, every time I write SAP POW, why? Okay, so this does not exist. Never mind. So let us transfer the plant. Okay, see how fast and quick it is if you do practice. So now I am putting no locations created. Oh, probably because I am unable to find that in the drop down list also here. It should be a restricted plant. Knows what? Okay, I'll do. There is a transaction to create plant. I think so. But the problem is even if I create a plant now, okay, T001, there is some transaction to create plant, storage location. Does
OX10, I
anybody
guess.
know? Uh, OX10 भी है actually, but you're right. So I was going through tables, huh? T001 in his table. But now what's wrong with this plan? Why am I not able to transfer this? English, ULCA, factory calendar is assigned. Everything looks good on this plan. Then why can't we transfer this to PPDS? Okay. Let me do it this way. Let's see. 38. Let's not provide any plant. Okay. Let's send everything. But it just still picks up 1710. We need to validate what's wrong with the other plan. So see, only 1710. So let me copy this guy. Okay, make it 1711. Copy title, Mr. Okay, so I guess so we are able to create a 1711 plan and store it. Okay, now let me go back here, put see whether it is appearing already. Okay, good. So let's transfer that 1711 plan, execute. So the plan got created on PPDS. Now, now what I need to do is go ahead and extend that material to 1711, right? So I think we do that via MM01, FG129 to FG129. Okay, select view material. Okay, fine. So MRP 1, 2, 3, 4, advanced planning, extended warehouse work scheduling, and few other. Let me select all. That's okay. Okay, so 1710. Okay, sorry, 1710 to 1711. Okay, copy table. This is notify. I'll do that. Okay, table decrement and can notify system administration. Save default settings. How do I get rid of this error? I think after creation of plan, we need to run something which can copy that to this other table also looks like. Uh, okay, let me do one thing. I'll just select a specific views. Okay, only few views. So MRP 1, 2, 3, 4, advanced planning and work scheduling. That's it. Hopefully it should allow me now. Hmm. Now what is TCURM? So I'll leave it here in case we cannot solve that because we don't want to spend extra time on to fixing S4 issues. Anybody knows what this table is about? So this is mandate valuation area, this and that. Okay, there is no details of a plant here. Then why it is inconsistent? Okay, so I'm okay to suppress the error and proceed, but this guy does not let me go. Table in notify to check the assignment of plant to company code. So I got it. What is the company code transaction? Do you know where do we assign the company code transaction?
I guess you can check in SPRO. There is a T code. Forgot. It comes in the org structure only next to this plant. SPRO.
Okay, just 1 second. Okay, I will see it at the table level. Okay, so he valuation area and the company code thing is not assigned. This is the company code. Okay, 1711 me missing it. And see purchase org is also not assigned. So we need to make the assignment. So I think so we can do that in XK. You said XK10, right? Or XK01 was it? OX10.
OX.
Okay, so let's
No,
just.
you cannot do it here.
Is it? Okay, separate assignment. You're right.
Yeah. Enterprise structure.
Enterprise structure. Just guide me then.
Yeah.
Definition. Assignment. Here or plant maintenance.
Controlling, not controlling. Yeah. Create controlling area. Okay, that is for creating. Create valuation. Define plant. Define location. Next, then okay, check in assignment.
Yeah,
Yes.
here it is, right? Assign plan to company code. Okay. So company code 17, company code 1710. Okay. Okay. So I will create a new entry. I'll assign 1710 to 1711. Let us keep the same company code for both of them. Okay. And save. All right. Now let's see whether we can extend the material.
And also valuation area, I guess. Can we
that
check
part.
in?
Assignment, business area, valuation area to division, plan division. So here there is no 1710 also.
Okay, maybe then, yeah.
Okay, so hopefully it should sort the issue now. Let us see. Okay, create material. Very good. So I think something else is required again on top. So how do I demonstrate it instead of solving the master data issues? Do you have a feeling that we are very close of sorting the master data issue?
No,
Or
I guess because once we create a plant, actually I had created, so we have a list of steps. For example, if we have to create a material on that particular plant, we have to run few other steps.
right.
Like,
So okay.
uh,
I think then we may not be able to solve that master data thingy, so we can keep it aside. It might take time, but I have another idea. How can we create a purchase requisition? Okay, to show you either in the receipt or requirement view with a different source and target. So see, this entire activity I was trying to do for what purpose? It was, to create a purchase requisition and a requirement view, a demand element I wanted to show as a purchase rec demand, but where if it is a purchase rec demand or a stock transfer rec demand, then it will have a target and source as a different plan. This is a dependent demand, this is a forecast, so it is only at the same plan. But if it is a demand coming from other location, then it will have source and target as different. So I just wanted to demonstrate that. Okay, same thing. If I open parallelly another view called RRP4, this is what this is requirement view, which is RRP1. But if I go to RRP4, it also has similar structure. Now I'm checking again for the plan, and the beauty of these transactions is it retains what you used on the last time on RRP1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so 23 to 24 plant, etc. is already selected, but it is a receipt view. So it would show me all the stock, plan order, and any kind of receipt. Correct. So you see the category now changed to plan order, purchase requisition, and so on. So we already have some purchase risks. This is already demonstrated. Okay. Yeah. So somebody has created that for RM20. Okay, very good. So see, the purpose of showing you both these transactions, first of all, is that you can do a mass check, mass validation, like a validation in large, that I want to check how are my total demand. So I can simply select the column, check the summation, and it will tell me 1000 is my total demand. Whereas I can check the receipt quantity and do the summation, it would tell me what is my total receipt for the current week. So here itself, if it was only for one product or one plant, this is all for one plant, right? So what we can sense it, that for that plant I have got supply of 1000 versus, sorry, the total demand of 1000, this is negative, versus total supply of 600. So something may be fishy, something may be wrong. However, it is for all the products. So you can perhaps select this column, and apply a subtotals on that. So it will tell you plant by plant, or sorry, product by product, because you selected product column. And same thing you can do here, select the product column and apply subtotal. So for the summation column, it will now tell that FG129 has 600 demand and FG129 has got 200 supply. So something wrong with FG129. RM20 200 demand versus 200 supply, it is good. SG29 200 supply versus 200 demand, it is good. So something is wrong for FG129. Perhaps we have got extra demand and lesser supply. So such things help you for doing analysis. These are not vast level or detailed level of analysis. These are the production planners analysis, which are very short duration, like 1 week or 2 week. Now, I hope the requirement view is clear to you. But if I go back to receipt view, we have got some receipts which are purchase recs, some receipts which are plan orders. So if you say plan order, where target and source will be the same, because plan order is only at one location, by that location, for that location. But when it comes to purchase requisition, the purchase requisition comes is sourced from one location and goes to other location. That is why to generate purchase rec, we created a transportation lane, which is like a connection between one plant to one source. I mean, one plant to one location. Correct. In this case, for the purchase requisition, we have got We have got what? We have got a target, but we haven't got any source. Source is blank. For the second period also target and source is blank. Okay, why this is happening now is for couple of reasons. First of all, RM20 is the raw material. So we haven't specified that RM20 will be procured from which source. You remember, see, if you go to the product master of RM20, okay. So first of all, that RM20 guy at 1710 has got what type of procurement type? It must have external procurement. F sorry, F is external procurement. So if you are putting some demand on RM20 product at 1710, then it will not try to produce, it will try to create a purchase rec. To create a purchase rec, we have to tell the system that okay, where to procure it from. So we would have created a purchase, we would have created a transportation lane. That transportation lane will tell that some plant called 1510 sends this product to 1710, so it will go and create a purchase requisition against it. So there has to be a source called 1510 or whatever. In this case nothing is created. Why? Because in this case we haven't created a transportation lane. However, at the model version level, what we told system is, even if you do not have a valid source available, see, if you said that no order without a source of supply, okay, so you haven't selected that, it means that it will create orders without a source of supply. So if you tell a guy that please procure it, so it will procure from nowhere, procure from out of a thin air. There is no need of source of supply also. Why? Because you just wanted to complete the loop, that my finished good wanted raw material which is RM20, so RM20 has to be procured from somewhere else. So it just created a purchase rec for RM20 without a valid source of supply, right? Excuse me. You got this point? If I would have selected at the model level as a global setting that we do not create orders without a source of supply, so if you have created X or E or F from whatever setting you selected, then it would show, it will not create a purchase requisition for RM20, because see, RM20 is getting some dependent demand. This is a dependent demand to RM20, correct? Yeah, RM20. This is coming from bomb explosion, and this guy will then ask for procuring it, because one single heuristic takes care of it, right? A heuristic runs end to end automatically. So then it will just create a purchase rig without a source. In real life, if you see this thing, then it is an indication that something is wrong. There is no valid source of supply for your product. So that is also an indication of wrong master data, right? In general, for a raw material also, the purchase recs are created, then they go to S4 HANA system. In S4 HANA, your procurement team is responsible to convert these purchase recs to purchase order, to procure perhaps, because raw materials are procured from other plants, or maybe they are procured from other vendor suppliers, correct? So they would convert this purchase recs, but in this case it is a wrong data. So still it created, because we have told the system at the global level that please do not stop execution my supply chain, still create a supply. Okay, so are you guys with me? Understood the receipts and requirement view, or was it tangent? Nobody understood or everybody understood?
Understood.
Nice. Okay, so basically I got diverted outside little bit, because I wanted to explain the filler topic, which is the table level. But before going to table, why I explained about RRP1 and RRP4 is because they are also kind of tables in the backend. You cannot access them via select queries, but they give you details like a table. All the receipts at one place, all the requirements at one place. But in case you are going to use analytics in your programs or some reports you want to develop, then you need to know how are the table structures within PPDS. Okay, so what happens is, if you go to SE16 or SE11, maybe both of them are table transaction, then all the tables within PPDS start with SAP APO. Now there are few tables that you should remember. One is mat key /SAP APO slash mat key. So this is a table where the materials are stored. And if you just display that, there is exit. So the mat key will show you the details of every product and its corresponding GUID. Because in this system in PPDS, we store the material location based on a GUID. So this is a global level data. Mat key is not location level data, plant level. So this is global level data. So remember this table. Similarly, there is another table called yellow C for location. So if you go to this table, it would show you all the contents of the table for against the location GUID. Always remember this. Okay. So you have got a GUID of the location, type of the location, and then actually the location code. All the details are, that the LOC transaction, LOC3 transaction that we use to access location is referring to this table. Now is the time to check the table called matlock, which is the material location table. It is equivalent to your MARC table on S4 side. So if you check matlock, it has got information about all the material locations within PPDS system. So this is a good indication of doing a mass analysis and validating whether all materials are transferred or not. However, I hope you are making notes of this table names. So this table, matlock table, stores data at the GUID level. So you cannot simply come down and tell that, okay, where is my 1710? Because there is no 1710 in this table, there is GUID. So because of that, some wise man has actually converted to a view and it called it v underscore matlock. So that view is basically matlock plus yellow C plus mat key, all three tables combined together, and it would show you the material location data at the actual material location number, not at the GUID level. See, plant and location. Their GUIDs are also there, but plant location is there, and then all other data is available here. Okay. So have a habit of checking through the tables and reading data out of it. Okay. So I just told you about the material location. These are the important tables. But if somebody wants to check what are my PDSs and the transportation lanes in the system, okay. So there is a specific table slash SAP and APO slash V underscore TR PROD. So the source of supply at the product level, and just refer to the view of it because it would have converted the GUID to actual number. So go to the VTR PROD and just provide the plant and location. You should be able to see whether the PDS is generated for my case or not, right? So in this case, see FG129. So this is the name of the PDS. So this is the PDS, source of supply table. In the same table, they also store the transportation lane because transportation lane is also procurement source of supply. PDS is a production source of supply. Just make these fundamentals super clear in your mind. So why this table would help is because if you want to see that on S4 there are 100 production versions and you want to mass check whether all the production versions are transferred as PDS here or not. So you would simply go and check this in the table. Okay. So V underscore TR PROD. Okay. That is for PDS. So that is enough, right? What you can do to validate is locations, products, location product combinations, and source of supplies. Done, dusted. Afterwards, what is required to be validated is whether my orders are correctly available or not. So you do not do mass analysis on orders generally, purchase order, sales order, and so on. But still, at times, you want to check what is the GUID of the order in case you are going to use any BAPI or bodies implementation on top of PPDS. Okay, just to do an enhancement. So there are three tables where every damn order that comes to PPDS gets stored. They are slash SAP PPDS slash order key, okay, order map, and order something. I forgot. Okay, so there are three tables where any order within PPDS gets stored. Okay, so let's check one by one. Order key. These guys towards the order ID versus the type of order, order number, and all other details. So we should not be going through details, not so necessary, but every order purchase order, sales order that comes to PPDS gets stored here. But the order has many peripheral things, right? The order has items behind it and some other details as well. So it does not store in only one table. It stores under three tables, and they are order key, order map, and one I forgot. I'll tell you. So it is order key, order map, and order, which is not here. I think it should be order fields also. However, okay, you don't need to remember these tables, especially from order perspective. Why? Because you do not download the order table and then perform a mass analysis. You generally do analysis on the product master and based on the reports that come out with the results. So what happens in some case? The only purpose of showing you tables for order is the following. If you go to your RRP3, okay, go in there, any function. So now we have got some of the orders here. Okay, sometimes what happens is the order got created here. Sorry, but it does not have a linking with live cache, because this is a very complicated structure of time series and live cache and all with the PPDS. So sometimes it lose a track, that the link is broken between the order at the database level and order in the live cache. That's what we call as pegging area and so on. So we try to run some programs to just establish, and I will show you what pegging area is subsequently. But just remember for now that any order that gets created, any transactional data element within PPDS has a link behind at the database level or at the live cache level. That is what we call as pegging area. Okay. So for some reason, for one of the order, it could be a purchase rec, or it could be a sales order, purchase order, stock element, plan order, process order, anything. So if that link is broken and via some available consistency programs, you are not able to re-establish that link. So for that particular order, it is useless for PPDS, because the planning engine cannot read the order during planning run because the link is broken. You are unable to establish, so you cannot actually restore the order. And if you try to delete the order with that PP order del transaction I showed yesterday, you cannot even delete it, because even that deletion transaction requires you to have a valid order in the system. It can only delete valid orders. So that is a very bad technical issue, where the order loses its track, order loses its correspondence with the live cache. So in that case, what we do, we use a specific program called incon order deletion. There is a program that SAP has provided, that is /SAP/incon delete. I forget always whether it is a program or a function module. I think it is a program. Is there anybody who doesn't know the difference between a program and a function module here? Is there anybody? Guys, utilize this. See, this is the program /SAP/OM_delete_incon orders. So you can perhaps make a note of this, or mark somewhere that today's sessions inputs would be useful. So always keep this handy in one of the Excel, all these tables, all these functions that I'm explaining. That will save a lot of time for you. So if you go to this program, this is a program we execute via SC38 transaction. Program is a standalone thingy that we can execute. Function module is the module that we use inside program. It's not a standalone thing, and we execute function module via SC37. So execute this guy. Here, what we do is we specify the GUID of the order. Where from can we find the GUID? We can find it from the order key order map table. Okay. So what it does is provide planning version, provide the GUID, whatever it is, and select all these three orders. So this guy, this guy, this guy, and these three are, see, order key, order map, and order object. Third table is also listed here. So basically, if some of the order is you are unable to delete it, I'll give you one classic example. This system, okay, the one which we are using, say generally the training systems and servers are set up long back. So maybe imagine this system was set up in 2015. Okay, although S4HANA wasn't there in the game that time, I think, not with this version. So say imagine this was set up in 2015. Now somebody created an order in 2015. Afterwards, the order got transferred to PPDS. Afterwards, the product location got changed or deleted on S4 HANA, but the deletion never got transferred to PPDS or something like that happened. So the product location is still valid in PPDS, but with one of the sales order created, but the order doesn't exist in S4, and we have passed the limit of CCR comparison also. So in that case, you cannot delete the order via PP order del. That order becomes inconsistent. So you just need to go to table, find out what is the GUID of the order, and select all these three tables, put it here and execute. So order goes out. Okay. So this transaction or this particular program is used to delete inconsistent orders. But to come down here, you need to know what are my tables. How does the data get stored in the tables? Okay. I hope you got this concept. Okay. The earlier you get used to do a mass analytics, the better. I had no habit on personal level, something personal. So I didn't have this habit of doing mass analysis. But coincidentally, I met a colleague of mine who was super good into Excel. Okay. And I was fortunate enough to work. I mean, it was in the junior days of mine where I was fortunate enough to work with him for 1 year. So what was his habit? You know, download all the data from tables from the system. Okay, and there is something called as Power Query onto Excel. If you see that this data thingy where there is query, so he learned that. He was a master in that. So he taught me that how to use on that 1 year. So you can pass on any volume of table, millions of record here. If you just try to do analysis with Excel, Excel has limitation of 65,000 rows or so, but the Power Query has analytical capability, so it can process millions of records also. On top, there is Power BI that SAP has come up with. There is Power Pivot. So all these are easy to access or readily available tools. But learn something of that sort. Learn how you can process the data. So what that makes you a differentiated functional consultant, because just imagine you are able to create some dashboard out of your Excel analytics by taking data from this table, that table, order table, and provide something meaningful, which is not readily available as part of standard SAP. You're a game changer consultant. Trust me. Always have one particular skill set in your day-to-day job, which is different from others in your pool. Now, all of you are in the same team, then it will be difficult. You will compete against each other, but still learn Power Query, Power BI, any of the analytics tool, and also get used to doing analysis on your day-to-day objects. Do not be a transactional consultant, be a analytical consultant. There is no dearth of having transactional consultants in India or in the world. Okay, but make yourself identified very different separately. All right, fine. So we just went through the filler. Now we understood about tables. Now come back to the main topic, product view. Okay. So I am going back to RRP3 and my own product. Anybody wants to volunteer that I can dictate and he wants to navigate through just for your own practice? I'm happy to do that. You can share your screen with this product.
May I share my screen?
Sure, sure. Happily, please.
Uh, I've shared my screen. Please let me know
Sure.
once the screen is visible.
Yes. Yeah, it is visible. Please go to my product or this product is also transferred well.
Yes.
Is this your product? Okay. So we can use your product even better. Okay. So, so what we want to check now is yesterday what we saw is the quantity creation in RRP3 via heuristic. Quantity creation. So quantity creation has got various types of inputs parameters. For example, your lot size. Safety stock is not working still, but it is there. Your minimum lot size, maximum lot size, lot for lot, and all such parameters. Correct. Now, okay. What we want to check now is how does the source of supply get selected. So in this case, your order is fixed order first of all. So Ritvik, have you created this order yourself or it is created by
Yes.
heuristic? Okay,
No, no. I created yours myself.
all right. So do one thing, just double click on that order number 45, double click on that. Okay, and just stay here for some time. So basically, let me make a big screen for me. Your screen is visible as very small to me. Okay, that's okay. That's fine. Okay, so guys, pay attention here. If you scroll down, Ritvik, scroll down, go to the bottom. So we have got a supply source at the bottom. Okay, this supply source is basically a PDS in this case. So what happens while you execute MRP or heuristic is it identifies what is my required PDS. Okay, it identifies the parameters of minimum, maximum, etc., and it just explodes the bomb. You must have seen bomb explosion concept in S4 in PP. So it is the same thing. It is the PDS explosion within PPDS. Now, in case you transferred your PDS later, okay, just like we were talking in the beginning that okay, you transferred the PDS one time and then there is an order on that. Now you just change a lot of things on the PDS and you transferred it again. So did an absolute transfer again. So if you want to consider those changes onto your order, what should you do? Either you rerun the heuristic that will again delete and recreate the order, or else in case the order is fixed or firm like in this case, or the order is already within the planning time phase where the order is already a converted one, then system will not re-explode. So you can manually do the re-explosion. So what can be done? You can just come down here, click on the change pencil button, do that. Yeah, so it would show you all the PDSs in case there are multiple PDSs. In this case, only one. So just select that and adopt. So even if there is only one, it is already selected, adopt. So this thing does the re-explosion of the bomb. So it has done a re-explosion. It means that it would have considered all the bomb component and the operations one more time and did the re-explosion. This is the source of selection methodology. Okay. In case you wanted to make any changes manually. Okay. Now you can save afterwards. Just save it. Okay. Go back one step. Go back to the main screen. Okay. Now do one thing. Put some the demand. Okay. Maybe somewhere towards December or January next year. You have to put date also. Yeah. Those of you who have got system access, please try to do this parallelly. Use my product. He's not using mine. So try to do this. See, unless you make your hands dirty, you will never learn how to wash, how to clean your hands. Okay, put some demand with not 100, not 10 actually. Why? Because you already have a fixed plan order of 100. So if you run heuristic, it will not generate anything. So you put a plus. That's why it generated a plan order. You had to put minus there. Then it becomes a demand.
Yes, yes.
So put 500 also as a demand. No, not double clicking. There only you can start typing. It will allow you. Start typing on the cursor. Okay, enter. Let's see. Okay. So the product code is gone on top. You see it is dash dash 201. Enter now. Okay. So see, now it is not allowing you to change it to demand. Why? Because already it was created as a plan order. So do one thing, forget everything. Just press on the refresh button on top, refresh and say undo. Do not select anything, undo. Yeah. And starts from scratch now. Now put a demand of the same date of minus 500. Anybody else trying it parallelly? Okay. Save. Save. Okay. Now, if you take your cursor to the top, actually, because you don't see the plan order. No, in the same window where you put up demand, the cursor is on to a, yeah, exactly. So now his situation is he has got a plan order of 100 and forecast of minus 500. So if a heuristic is executed, it would generate additional plan order of 400 quantity, right? To fulfill his demand of 500. So just run a product heuristic on top. Just click on the button and do a lot for lot. Doesn't matter. Just execute, add up. Okay. So see, he has generated additional plan order of 400. So now just save this guy now. Save the total thing at the bottom. Okay. Now I want to explain a very important concept. Look at the plan order on 1711. It has got F in the bracket under the category, right? The name of the category says plan order, but F, which is the firmed or fixed, and the other plan order is non-fixed, which is simply non-fixed. Okay. Why it has happened? I told you, right? There is a difference between order conversion and order firming. Now I am in the phase of explaining you what is order firming. So what happens is, if the order which the planning engine has created, which is in this case our planning engine is the heuristic planning, right? MRP heuristic. It created order, but the order just got created, so it is not auto firmed. Because but the other order, the 5138 order, okay, can you just refresh it, because the 47 will also be changed by S4 order number. So just refresh from top. Yeah, because it would be replaced with S4 number. Yeah, 5139. Okay. So the difference between both is the first order he created manually. So if the order is manually created or changed by somebody, then it gets firmed automatically. Firming means the planning engine cannot change it anymore. Whereas the order which is just created by the planning tool, planning engine, it is not firmed. So you can see the demonstrator in front. If you just double click on one of the order, double click, then just pay attention here under the fixation section at the bottom. You see the fixation. So there are various radio buttons. PP firm. It means that, okay, PP firm, the top one PP firm is coming in case any of the bottom firming is set, which is input, output, or date fix. Now, how do they come? So see, in case the inputs to the plan order, maybe Ritik, you can go on mute. As long as you can hear us, it's fine. But some noise is behind you, so just be on mute and unmute yourself when you want to say something. But you can follow my instructions. Okay. So see, now this order is a plain vanilla order. It has not been touched by anybody. It is just created by your planning engine. So the order has got none of the tick marks entered here. But if on S4 side, if you're going to change some component on the order, it means the inputs to the order are changed, then it would get an indication called input firm. If you change some quantity of the order, finished good quantity, then it would get output formed. Or if you create the order manually also, it means that you're changing the final output quantity of the order, it would get output form indicator. And in case you change the date of the order, then it is called date fixed order. Okay. So one of those three indicators indicate that the order is firmed, and it automatically gets the PP firm indicator if any one of the bottom one is set. And the bottom one are set in case you're changing something on the order. So if you quickly go back, and go to the other order, the one above, just double click on the one above, because the 5138 order was created by him, so it is an output firm, you see, and so it is PP firmed also, right? It's that way. Now do one thing, go back, and for the other order, which is that 5139, instead of 400, just change the quantity to 401 to make any change there and save. So making a change by the planner. Now Ritvik is our planner. If he changes, the order will become firm. So immediately see it got F in the bracket. It changes the category of the order. And if you double click, it would have assigned one of the output firm indicator or some indicator on that. Okay. So see, it became an output firm order now. In case I am running a planning run next time, then it will not touch this order because this is a firmed order automatically. Okay. So this is the order firming thinking. Now, if you go back a step, okay. So what we do usually is, if you just scroll up little bit onto this product. Okay. So you know we have seen another fence called PPDS planning time fence. I showed you that onto product master, right? That is shown on the top. So in this case, it is showing on 2810. It means that Ritvik has added 10 days of planning time fence on his product. That is why from today onward, still at 2810, it is showing 10 days of planning time fence, right? So if you assign a specific MRP type onto this location product, and the configuration of MRP type says that any order which enters into PPDS planning time fence should be automatically firmed, then the or then say you generated an order today which is say on 2910, Tomorrow the order would enter into 2810 and it would automatically get firm. So that mechanism is also there in the game at many customers, many business requirements. So all in all, my intention of explaining you this thing is here you generate a new plain vanilla order, but you make any modification, the order becomes firmed or fixed. Someone will call fixed, someone will call firm. Both of them are similar, but manual modification on the order is firming the order, as well as you can have the MRP type based indication that if the order enters within the planning time frames, order will get firmed automatically. So the firming will mean that next time nothing will change. Now let's do this thing. Let's experiment whether the system is working fine. So both these orders like 100 and 401 are firmed orders. Now delete your forecast. Ritvik. Delete your forecast. Select the forecast line. No, not that. Not select the line on 1512, the forecast line, the checkbox. Yeah. Select and delete it. Okay. And save this. So now the problem is in this case, there is no demand. We have just got a supply of plan order 100 and 401. So overall, you see the surplus is available of 501 quantity. Okay, the excess quantity or availability is 501. There is no demand for this case. So if the order was done not firmed, then on the next run of PPDS heuristic, it would have deleted the orders because they are not necessary. They are not simply required. There is no demand. But in this case, he has already firmed the orders. So you try to run the heuristic, it should not delete the orders because they are firmed by somebody. So just run a heuristic and see what happens. See, nothing happened. So heuristic got executed, but nothing happened because heuristic will not touch the orders which are firmed already. I hope the concept is becoming very fundamental and clear in your mind. In case you have doubt, just unmute and say it loud, please, because these are architecture level decisions. Although they seem very simple, but when once you enter into project, they are already decided. But you need to be able to understand them, and very soon, as you progress, you would be designing the PPDS system soon. So these are very fundamental things. What should be in a time pace? How do I configure my MRP type? How do I firm, fix, and so on? The fixing and firming also has influence from detailed scheduling, which is coming soon. So far, I'm just talking about quantity changes, input output quantity changes by the planner, and that way we are firming the orders. But the detailed scheduling influence is also the next step to firm the order. Okay, you're able to get me? Another thing here. Okay, in case you just created an order, but if you're changing the source of supply, it means that you are re-exploding the PDS on any order. That also firms the order. Okay, that also firms the order. All right. If you keep silence, I will proceed. Okay, because I I, I cannot ask questions more than set limit. One now let's check one part here. Okay, if you go to left quick and double click on any of the order. Double click. So what we saw is fixation part. Okay, left side there is fixation where PP firming, output firming, etc. is there. But if you go all the way to the right in the same row, all the way, there is life cycle. Okay, do you see life cycle? Do you see that? Yeah. So under life cycle, there are various statuses. So first status is the conversion indicator. So see, since day one, I am telling you that we apply a conversion indicator on the order from PPDS, but the actual conversion happens within S4. So what we do here is in case you feel that this order should be converted to a production order, then you just tick mark the conversion indicator here. So they run some programs within S4 that actually picks up all the orders where the conversion indicator is set and that converts the order to production order. So at times it depends on what your planner wants, but they may be running a program which is converting all the conversion indicator based orders to production order, or they want to have a manual control. So they will check and convert them. Okay. So here I think that mechanism may not be in place, but let us place conversion indicator, save it and see what happens. Ritvik. Yeah. So this is a guideline from PPDS that this order should be converted. So if the auto mechanism is in place, then perhaps the order will come back as a production order to us. Okay, let's see what is happening. By the way, under the life cycle, we have got other statuses also: release, started, confirm, final, confirm. So as you go on performing or right executing the order at the shop floor, then actually the order got converted, then you will release it to shop floor. So on S4 the release status gets assigned, and IB in PPDS also you see that once you start the first operation it becomes started. If it is two operations confirmed, two are pending, it will become partially confirmed, and final confirm. So all these statuses are here. They may not be required from planning perspective in PPDS, but for detailed scheduling, we do that. We check what is the status of the operation, and accordingly we show color coding onto the operation. Say now you did you save it? Yeah, okay. Go back after saving. Go back and refresh. Yeah. See, it is already converted. Can you refresh? So now the order names is production order. It is not plan order anymore. So just because you applied a conversion, you indicated from PPDS that boss convert the order, and it went back to S4, and it is converted as a production order, right? Now in S4, what you do on top of it, that you perform further activities like go on releasing and confirming and all those things on this order. But this is how the end-to-end cycle works. Scheduling is still remaining. You do scheduling on your production order, plan order, any type of order, that is still remaining. But so far we are just in the planning part, right? And so the production order is converted, and it came back with a new number, the 1000. That number is perhaps this is the first production order in the system, because maybe the number range assigned for production order in S4 is starting with 10,000. Yeah. Okay. Now, if the order is any one of them that are displayed here, like production order confirmed or plan order fixed, none of them are readable to PPDS or planning engine because they are firmed, fixed, confirmed. So we are not actually planning on top of it. Even if there is no demand, it will still keep it as it is. Are you with me? Anybody,
Yes.
please? Yeah.
Yes.
So following me, right? Okay. Is there anyone with any kind of doubt? Something needed to be refreshed and so on? No mind. Now, one homework to all of you to firm the auto firm the order. Just do one thing. Okay. Create a MRP type, or maybe use any of the existing MRP type in the system. Go to PPDS, go to SPRO for the MRP type config, and make the setting that if the order enters into time frames, then it get auto firmed. That setting is available in the MRP type. Assign that MRP type to your own product and see and try to create a plan order. So the moment you create, it would be firmed already. It happens. The moment you create the order via even the planning engine, it will be firmed automatically if you're trying to create it within the PP time frames. So there are a couple of things there. In the MRP type, you generally do couple of definitions. One is like if the order enters into time frames, then it gets auto firmed. That is one setting. Another one is new orders to be created within time frames or outside time frames. So you have to make two settings: create new orders within time frames and automatically firm the order if it is within time frames. Apply that and run heuristic and see what happens there. Okay. All right. Okay. Now quickly let us understand few more things here. Okay. They are Ritik, can you put some demand element here so that we can see the pegging relationships? So put demand element of 501 quantity, exactly minus 501, somewhere in the month of December. Maybe 20th of December 2023. Somebody, is there anybody trying it parallelly? If you want, I can wait. We can move on to your system and see. Okay, save this. Here on the screen also, there is an option to assign a conversion indicator. You see, scroll to right for that 5139 order. There is a checkbox of conversion indicator. Scroll to right. No, no. See the column third from left, exactly. So here also you can assign that. So in case you want to assign it for 10 orders from here itself, you can do that. Or what can be done here is just scroll left. Okay, so there are some buttons on top where there is a button of ATP and the next button to that. Can you click there? Just take your cursor. So see, with this you can either set or you can delete the conversion indicator. Okay, so see, for the order which is already converted, you cannot delete the conversion indicator, I think. Yeah, because it is already converted. But at times if the conversion hasn't happened, because it is now here at it's automated conversion, but at times it could be manual conversion by the planner, so they might take 2 days to convert, so you can delete that conversion from here. Okay, so this can be one set of mass conversion, and same thing is available within RRP4. I showed you one report called RRP4, which is receipt view, where all the products for one plant or all the plants and all the products can be shown with their receipts, with their plan orders. So if you display all plan orders, select 100 of them or all of them, then and there you can apply a conversion there. So that will convert all the orders. Okay. So these mass tools help the planner depending upon the requirement and severity or how the planners are used to it. 50-50 I've seen people prefer to auto convert, especially for FMCG industries. But if it is a specialty manufacturing, like very specific to some customers, then they prefer manual conversions and so on. At times they only convert orders who have got sales order behind them, not a forecast. So they just keep aside the orders, delete the orders which have got a forecast behind them. Okay, so it all depends. So I showed you all the different perspectives of how can you convert the order. Okay, so what we learned so far, we learned the changes on the order, how does your heuristic is influencing the order, the quantity influencing, and your date influencing, your source of supply selection. We saw that. Then we saw how can you firm the order. So it will be a biggest failure of mine in case any one of you is not able to still explain me or understand the difference between firm order and a converted order and all that horizon. Okay, tool can be learned, but the basic fundamentals have to be taught, have to be learned from somebody who has done that. Okay, so this is usually not available on internet also. You try to go on the SAP site and try to find out, you may not be able to find that 100%. Okay, so just make sure that your fundamentals are becoming very clear here. In case somebody, and I might ask these questions towards the end, actually if you do not explain me, then it will be a bigger failure of mine, so I'll have to charge you double for failures. Okay. All right. Now we will just learn one additional thing here before we take the break, and then perhaps we can move on towards detailed scheduling. Okay. But I just sense not one thing. There are few more things to be learned here. Never mind. Let's do that. Okay. Onto the screen. Okay. First of all, on the top there are few buttons. Okay. So one important button is that bell icon near the order creation. Okay. So that, yeah, take your cursor. So this shows you alert monitor. How many of you know about alerts? Is there anybody who can explain me what an alert is from a planning system perspective? Have you used alerts first of all? Anyone?
Alerts in terms of planning, I'm not sure, but in terms of monitoring, I have done it.
In terms of what you've done it?
Monitoring of different other things like archiving or something like that.
But they are in the execution system, not in the planning
Yes.
system, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Somebody raised, Krishna, you raised your hand. Yeah.
Yes, yes, I have done it for the capacity overload and underload for IBPL
Perfect.
to connect with PPDS. We have
So
an
that is,
custom alert where we
huh,
configured in such a way that if the work center, the resources overload or underload beyond the percentage, right, like 80 to 100, then we have this custom alert immediately. You can see that in the alerts.
absolutely. And that is exactly what we need in the planning system. So both of you were on the right track, just that the other guy hasn't seen and one guy has seen in the planning system. So what an alert is, if you're operating into 3 months horizon, the production planner is operating into 3 months horizon, and he wants to be very sure that nowhere the capacity overload is happening. Capacity like manufacturing capacity. So he would create an alert. So system would automatically proactively tell him that boss, on December 10 there is capacity overload. So go check, take some action. You do not have capacity. You do not have raw material and so on. Correct. Overproduction, underproduction. So in the planning system there is no limit of having alerts. Why? Because when I say planning system, it is end-to-end planning, demand planning, supply planning, production planning, network planning. So in various phases, because the horizon is like 2 years, 3 years, 5 years at times, you just need proactive mechanism to tell you that what's wrong after 3 years, what's wrong after 2 years. So that is exactly here. If you want to focus on PPDS, then Krishna gave a wonderful example of capacity, because your production planner, he is interested into two things majority of the times. One is whether my capacity is overloaded or underloaded. Overload means you cannot generate a plan order there, you cannot convert that plan order to production order because you cannot produce it, right? Underload means that you have your machineries running, your planning, your production line is operational, you have hired the resources, but there is no plan order to produce. So it is a wastage of your operational cost, isn't it? So you cannot afford that. It is a big blow on his planning. So neither underload nor overload. This is one thing. Second alert, type of alert that he is always interested in is on time. So is there a delay or is there a on time performance? Like I'm generating the plan order, but when was the demand about? Because delayed outcome from the system is not a good indication. Okay. So that is why we set up some sorts of alerts. And in case you set up the alerts, that we will see during detailed scheduling how to set up. But in case you set up, then as soon as you press on that bell icon that he's highlighting, it displays you if there are any alerts. So can you click there in case something is there in the standard? Anyway, that bell icon would have shown us one or two or three number of alerts as a indication, which is not showing. So that's okay. Hmm. So nothing is available here. Okay. So there are no alerts in the as is case. Fine. Other buttons are simply self-explanatory, so won't be going through them. But what we will check here is the day's supply. Yeah. Okay. The one button that you just highlighted, the log button, right? The one before. So this log is SLG1 log. Okay. In general, whatever you do within PPDS system, it is or APO system, it gets recorded under SLG1. So I'll show you that log also. I mean, I'm not leaving those topics aside, but instead of going explicitly to the log and then checking log transaction and checking, you can also check the logs from here, wherein if you just executed heuristic, then what is the log? If you just entered something, what is the log that got generated in the backend? So you can redirect there. So not usually that you check logs, etc., for every individual location product. So I'm not stressing a lot onto these buttons because they are, once in a lifetime or once in blue moon, you might be clicking out there. You generally go to the transaction and check the mass logs at a time. Okay. Days supply is important. Okay, if you see that days supply, no, at the towards the right hand side, okay, that's 63.42 is the days supply. What is days supply? Anybody can explain me based on his or her experience. What is the days supply?
Inventory on hand.
See, so inventory on hand is your target inventory or your projected inventory. But the projected inventory available today, it will be lasting for how many days of demand in future? That is days supply. Okay, so in this case, right, days supply is calculated on today, or I think it is the maximum days supply. Some logic is there behind. But what it would be doing is say 1711. I have got 100 quantity, and 1512 I have got 401 quantity. So for how many days it will be lasting? So it has calculated 63 days. Okay, so 2012 is it exactly 63 days from today? 2012, because your requirement, the first requirement is on 20th of December, right? Forecast is on 20th of December. So from today, how many days supply are there available? So it is like 63 days, right? Exactly 63 is coming, isn't it? 1810 to 2012. So on today, how many days supply I have? See, let me demonstrate it with a different way. Okay, so 1711 is your first production order, right? So put one forecast element which is like 1st of November. Put a forecast element of some quantity 500, 700 on 1st of November. There is no supply available by that time. So we'll see how does that 63 changes in that case. 1st of November minus 1000. Okay, so now days supply got changed to 14.38. How? Now go back, go on top. Okay, so first of November, is it exactly 14.38 days from now?
Yes.
So this has confused me also a little bit. Why it is calculating 14 days as days supply? Because there is no supply available as on today. Okay, so okay, 17 days, 18 10 to 17 days. So okay, do one thing, go to the periods tab. Perhaps we will understand it better there. So there is second tab called periods on the same screen next to elements. Just press enter. That's okay. First time you're going there, so it is asking. Okay, so what does this show you? Week by week calculation. So due days supply is 14.5, whereas available quantity versus days supply becomes lesser. Then see, days supply calculation is happening week by week. So as on today, I have got 14 days of supply. He's saying, but where is the days supply? Because there is no available quantity. So how come I have 14 days of supply here? In the first bucket, I have got a demand of 1000, so the day supply becomes half day. Then on the 1711 I have got some supply, so the day supply become Acha, this is minus half day because it is consuming, right? 1000 is to 1000. So okay, next ones are fine, next ones are clear, but only on today the calculation of days supply is not okay, Krishna. So only the calculation on today's date is little clumsy. Okay, never mind. Just come out of it. I'll take the control and then explain with another simple example. We have to understand this also. Okay. So basically, like, be on this screen. That's okay. So two things that are shown on top, right? Days supply is like how many days the supply on that particular week. The supply available on that week will be lasting for how many days. Okay. So okay. Now I got it. Why this is a problem? So basically, today's date we have got zero supply, right? And the demand is also zero. Fine, you're with me. On the due column, which is on the today's date, we got zero demand, zero supply. So we have got 14 days of supply. Why? Because on the 14th day, there is some demand coming, which is 1000. You're able to follow me. On the 14th day, the demand of 1000 is coming, whereas there is no supply available, right? Can you go back to elements tab one more time? Sorry. Just go back to element tab. See, on the today's day there is no demand and there is no supply, so it means there is infinite supply, but that infinite supply is not available literally infinitely because there is a demand coming on 1st of November, which is of 1000. Correct. So what does it mean is I have got 14 days of supply today. There is no simply demand of next 14 days, so I have got 14 days of supply today. So zero demand, zero supply. But when it comes to the 1st of November, I have got a demand of 1000, whereas there is no supply available. Up to what date? Up to 1711, there is no supply available. So it means that 1st of 11 till 17th of 11, which is kind of a same week, right? No, no, not for same week. It's kind of 1st of November till 17th 11, where the supply is coming. We have got minus. So for sure, minus 1000 is going as a short supply on 1st of November until the first supply is available, which is on 17th of 11. So 1st of November till 17th of November, there is reduced days supply, but why it does calculate it as minus 0.5? Okay, guys, let me analyze that and explain. Okay, let me not eat up your time. That's okay. Let's do one thing. Let me check that during the break. It is 10:39. Let us take a break of 8 minutes and come back. So let me share my screen. So during the break, I was checking that product. uh, so for me, it's showing correctly because if I go down here to periods, it shows 63,000. Sorry, 63 days, 63.542 days because of the timing and all. Then here it is showing 32 days and it is showing 4 days. Okay. For your case, Ritvik, what is your probably some setting is missing or maybe it would need a refresh because it was showing minus 0.5 here, right? Can you share your screen again? Let's just quickly check that because the total number of days it shows correctly with me. You're not back, are you? Likely still on break. So see, if you go down to checking the day's supply, then on today there is no demand and supply. Okay, so today is 17th of October, correct? Until we get into 17/11, okay, there is no demand and supply in his case, right? So because of that, from today till those many number of days, it would just show us that various periods. It will show us that this guy is still 17/11. It has got 63 days of supply because there is no demand and supply. So zero demand is zero supply. It means that we have got supply of labor. But on 17/11, suddenly we got a plan order of 100. Because of that, we have got excess 32 days of supply because that plan order of 100 will be lasting till next demand and supply combination appears. Correct. So from 17/11 till 15/12, 32 days, it shows us availability of supply. And on 15/12, again, we have got 501 available because 100 coming from last bucket plus 401 of the current bucket. So overall, we have got 501 availability. But in reality, the demand is only coming on 20th of 12. So this supply is only available until 4 days, 4.5 days. So it is just showing us 4.5 days availability. Whereas on week number 12, there is no availability at all. Absolutely nil. Correct. So that is why days supply is totally blank here. Okay. And if I want to demonstrate it with a better example, what I will do simply is delete the forecast element. Okay. And okay, I can't delete his plan orders confirmed one. So let me just delete the firm one, not the converted one. And in this case now, as soon as everything is deleted, so it has got supply of 999999. So it is like an infinite days. Why? Because on today I have no demand. Okay, on today I have no demand, no supply, and in future also no demand is coming, only supply is coming of 100. It means that any number of days that demand is available, I am able to fulfill it. Right? If there is a demand in future at any particular time, then this supply is able to fulfill only that till that time. So we call it that days supply. Days supply by definition is the number of days up to which your supply will last. So in case there is no demand at all, and in case there is only one single quantity of supply, still it is 999 days. So if you go to my product, and if I delete everything here, okay, this guy is deleted. This is a S4 side order, right? So I cannot delete it. If it is a S4 side, I cannot delete it. So I can delete it via S4. Go to MD61 and make it 0. Okay. So it would be gone from PPDS. See, then delete the plan order, delete the forecast, and this plan order, I'll just make it as one quantity, not a very big, just one quantity. If I make it one quantity and save, still the day's supply is 99999. So even if the supply is of one quantity only, the day's supply is infinite. Why? Because there is no demand at all. As soon as I'll put up some demand somewhere like minus 100 quantity of 10th of February 2024, then the day's supply will be changed. So because the supply that is available today, it will be lasting only till the first demand appears. So it is like 115 days of supply. Okay. But if you go to periods, then it would show that 115 is available till 10th of February. But on 10th of February, suddenly this point 0.5 should have some calculation behind. It's a half day it is available, right? So maybe the demand and supply are available half day apart from each other. So it might be coming up. But afterwards, one quantity of plan order you are able to fulfill for 100 quantity of demand. So you will be having still minus 90 days, minus 99 days of unfulfilled supply. And because of that, your days supply becomes 19,500. Why 19,500? Because this will be calculated until end of horizon, which is until the time that you have generated your uh, the, the the calendar of time stream for, and time stream for that is generated only for next 2 3 years or whatever number of days it could be, right? So it does get calculated accordingly. So your days supply by definition is that the number of days your available supply will be lasting for. Correct. That's it. If there is no demand, then days supply is always infinite. If there is a demand, then days supply is limited. The calculation happens. And if you go to your settings under user settings here, then there are some days supply related settings somewhere. Let me see. Days supply related, it means somewhere we specify what should be the period of calculation and so on. Here, so unit for days supply, it says days. If you want to calculate that in terms of weeks or months, you can very well change it. Generally, for a production planner, it has to be in terms of days because he's into operational horizon. But if it comes to planning system, it has to be in terms of weeks and months in the very long future horizon. Okay. All right, so that is about few features here. Similarly, if you go to quantities tab, you see the graphical representation of see available quantity versus cumulative requirement versus cumulative receipts. However, I haven't seen any planner so much interested in understanding this, you know, because when you work at individual location product level, you need not be actually you may not be coming to every location product and checking, right? You get the sense based on quantities rather than based on graph. Graphical representation or analytics is useful when you want to do a mass analysis of 1,000 products, 1,000 locations, and so on at a time. Here, what does it give you an idea that okay, I have a demand which is lasting till end of 29 February, where there is a supply coming, one quantity of plan order coming here, right? So the available quantity is completely nil or something like that, right? So you can analyze it, but no need to waste time also. It may not be so much of necessity, at least in terms of RRP3 product view. But when we will have graphical representations in the detailed scheduling planning board, there it is much useful. Okay. Stock view gives you information about the stock. The MB51 or some view in S4 that gives you stock overview, right? How much is your available stock, unrestricted stock, and so on. The similar visibility in RRP3 also. Pegging overview we have seen. So it just connects the demand versus supply. And since the basic strategy is dynamic pegging, so it has connected that demand versus supply. But in case you change some supply and demand, it would do the reshuffling. Here the indication is plan order of one quantity and forecast of 100 quantity. We know the receipt is one, requirement is 100. So dynamically pegged quantity is only one. Why? Because the receipt is only one. It shows that way. And the pegging type is also shown as D. Now, if I change that fixed peg, dynamic pegging to fixed pegging, then pegging time became M. M must be meaning some M का long form क्या है? M is manually fixed pegging relationship. Yeah, unnecessarily. In the long-term planning scenario, there are some planning engines. If you coming from the CTM engine, capable to match. So I told you about heuristic and optimizer engine so far. But there is another type of engine which is called CTM. So that engine has a capability of generating fixed pegging relationships on its own. That is why such type of planning scenarios are used when the customer needs fixed relationship between demand and supply. So especially for make to order type of scenario. Okay. In terms of make to order, or in terms of characteristic based planning, or say variant configuration where a specific demand needs a specific supply, so you cannot reshuffle that. So you need to run an engine which will be automatically creating a fixed packing relationship in that case. Now I'll delete this. With IBP, the fixed packing is not available. With PPDS, it is not so necessary. Why? Because you can very well generate this pegging relationship and run a heuristic to fix the pegging. There is a heuristic to fix the pegging. Whatever got generated, you can fix it. So it's we generally do that explicit fixing later on. Okay. Next tab shows you the product master, which is this MAT1 transaction again, and the other tab shows you the forecast requirements. So whatever number of forecast and the consumption that has happened. By the way, this view also gives you idea about requirement strategy is 20, but my backward and forward consumption is 100 into 100. So what does it do is this is the quantity of 100, but how much of that is allocated is how much of that is actually converted to sales order. So remaining demand is how much is your unconsumed forecast that comes up. So let us try to create forecast we have, but we will try to create a sales order for the demand supply. Let me make a note and I'll offline create a sales order. So that we can check how the consumption is happening. Okay, we'll see that quickly tomorrow. I'll create a sales order. So what would have happened in this case, that 10th of February, we have got 100 quantity of forecast. Now, in case you would have created 50 quantity of sales order, so your remaining planning quantity, like remaining forecast would be 50 then. Why? Because the 50 forecast, 50 sales order would have consumed the 50 forecast. So 50 forecast consumed and 50 forecast unconsumed. That way the forecast will get splitted. So 50 quantity of sales order and 50 quantity of unconsumed forecast would remain. See, wordplay. But what I'm trying to say is as soon as you do consumption, okay. So you got original forecast of 100, then you get sudden sales order of 50. So you calculate the remaining demand, which is equal to unconsumed forecast, which remains that this 50 has eaten this 100. So 100 minus 50. 50. So this become your final demand, correct? 50 forecast, 50 sales order plus 50 unconsumed forecast. So only thing is, remember always these are very typical naming conventions during in your supply chain. So original forecast is called consume forecast, consumable forecast rather. Then there is sales order, and then there is remaining demand, which is called as unconsumed forecast. Always remember this: original forecast versus unconsumed forecast. So your final planning happens around them, your actual sales order and your unconsumed forecast. Okay. So if there is a sales order, it would reflect in here. Okay. So that's about your product view. There are many more things around it. Okay. But in the interest of time, we may not be able to go through each and every section. For example, one important section is the user settings. And I would advise you to just go over them and come up with some doubts in case required, because there are some settings which influence. However, they are not the configurations that you do at the time of implementation, because they are not things that you are going to change from user to user. Generally what is coming from SAP is good enough, right? So I'm not stressing on them, but it is good to know. If you just navigate and understand what are my possibilities out there, it is helpful. Another thing is some customers want that this view has to be changed. So this is very generic and I'm sure many of you must be knowing, but maybe in case you want to bring a column, say say a start date here on the left side. Okay, so you drag that column. Why I'm not able to drag? Change mode. Yeah. Okay, start date here. and maybe end date also if it is there in future, and also say destination and source. So bring it near. So now you change this view. Next time if you want to load that, so you can simply save this as your own view. Where is that button? Yeah. So you can save this layout, and while saving you can make it as user specific and default. So next time you log into the screen, it would automatically load that view, or you can just remove some columns, apply some columns and so on. So give a name, make it user specific default. If you do not do user specific, just make it default, then it is defaulted for everyone who is using the system. So make sure that you are always doing the user specific one. Okay, fine. So what we just learned now is product view in detail, heuristic and source of supply. Okay, we have now we are capable of doing the planning on our own. Okay, however, the way we are running the planning, either MRP or heuristic, is not the way real system works. When I say real system, it means the system after go live. It doesn't work that way. So what we do in that case is we have to have some mechanism wherein the jobs would be running. Again, while we bring up the jobs, then for the planning, there has to be some background jobs, right? So if it is a situation with regular SAP, then maybe you would create a process chain or a sequence of job, or maybe you would be using some third-party tool called Atomic. I don't know if you have heard about this tool, but there is a tool called Atomic which can trigger jobs within SAP in a proper sequence. So it is a third-party tool, and there are many more such tools. But for PPDS, they themselves have given us a tool which is useful for running all those PPDS jobs in the background in a particular sequence. And that is where we are starting with this topic called background execution of your planning run. Okay, background planning run. So just make a note of this transaction called /n/SAP/APO/CDPS0. Sorry, not 0, B0, background 0. You will get used to it. Okay, but CDPS B0. Enter. So this transaction is called as production planning run. These are various tools. Okay, the way we are learning them is of course in a sequence, but these are various tools. They are out of the box with SAP. See, on this tool, what we do is specify your planning version, specify time profile. I'll tell you what the time profile is. Okay, specify propagation range. Just give me a moment to explain this also. Okay, in case you want to run the job in simulation mode, give that, say display log. You want to display the logs and provide what do you want to run as a first step. If you are doing a production planning, okay, so here you would have already run the transfer job, so they are on the S4 side. That is a different case. Now I'm only talking about the production planning and detail scheduling section. So both these one after the other. So what you would do here is you would define various number of steps. Why so many steps? Is because somebody wants to run a planning only at the header level, then wants to run a planning for the component level, then wants to run a detailed scheduling for header, then component, then do a top down and so on. So there can be various such steps, and they would execute via this transaction one after the other. So what we do here is specify what do you want to do first thing. So I want to run a heuristic. Now this heuristic can be scheduling as well as planning heuristic. So we haven't yet entered into scheduling. So I'll go for a planning heuristic, which is SAP PP 002. This one we have been using so far on the foreground. So now select the heuristic on the background. Select the time profile selected. So I'll tell you this. What is this? Select the strategy profile if need be. Doesn't matter. I'll tell you this also. Optimization profile we don't have to select because we are running a heuristic. Okay, we could have run an optimizer also on top. Then it would need a profile for optimizer. And then select what do you want to run it against. So planning objects. Maybe in my case, I'll select products and select that. Okay, select the product, select location as 1710, and maybe select star products. Here also, if I want to restrict, then I would like to select only this one, that only those products we have undergone some change. So with products with the planning file entry, I showed you that yesterday, a very quick glimpse of it. So usually this is used for a limiting your total execution. You can either use this is the best one, this is dynamic one, or else you can use planning group. So at the product master level, you can specify a group of products under one planning group, so filter it based on that, or a production planner, which is your MRP controller. So one person responsible for one production line of the plant, he can run that heuristic for his own production planning, this that way. For now I'm not limiting anything, it's okay. And maybe just give me FG 129. Okay, so this way I can run a heuristic. Now here it is possible to schedule a background planning job and so on. So that is fine. I can also save this as a variant that helps me for triggering this guy from external side. Second step here is that you can specify a next step here. So that can be another heuristic. Okay. For example, I will select a heuristic which is used for fixing the pegging relationship. So let us find, minimize. Is there anything peg related heuristic? So fix pegging relationship. So there is a heuristic which automatically is able to fix pegging. Can someone tell me, if I am using this heuristic, what will happen onto my planning data? Any guess? If I'm using a fixed pegging relationship heuristic, then will it, what will happen on that dynamic pegging? See, as the name itself suggests, by default, the regular heuristic generates dynamic pegging between a demand and supply. But if I use a fixed pegging relationship, then it simply fixes the pegging. So it changes dynamic to fixed for pegging quantity. And if I want to delete it, I can delete the pegging relationships also with this heuristic. So these heuristics are not generating plan, but they are doing you some service. So these are service heuristics, the third type of heuristic that I explained. So if there is a requirement that first of all run the planning followed by run a fixed pegging relationship, then I can create a second step. Okay, and again it will run for, press enter. Okay, then it will run for the planning objects. Now the beauty here is, if everything that you are running here is for a specific set of product locations, okay, so you just want to restrict the product location on the first screen. Okay, say for example here on the first screen means the first step. So you define that run it for the products, why it disappear. Okay, run it for say star products, fine. With planning file entry, so you already restricted it. Okay, fine. And oh, sorry, this is the second tab already I came in. Okay, I wanted to go to the first step. Okay, so in the first step, what we have done is define one location and product. I want to run it only for this one. Now, if I go to the next tab, I want to do the fixed pegging only for those location products which were used in the last section. So you can simply say that copy products from the previous step. So you need not to specify anything. It will just run the fixed pegging for. Hello, am I audible still? Can someone?
Yes, Swapnil.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you can filter it for copy objects from the previous step. Now the next step, I'm taking one step ahead. As I said, on all the steps where you are running a planning, you also run a detailed scheduling. So there are heuristics for doing a detailed scheduling that you need to select here. So even the detailed scheduling comes as third step, and there also you would select copy from previous step. So the result would be that in one such a production planning run, you would be running a planning followed by detailed scheduling followed by any other activity that you want to perform, top down, bottoms up, and so on and so on. So in this case, detailed scheduling I am not including yet because we haven't seen, but we are doing a planning with standard lot followed by doing a fixed pegging relationship on the same product location. Okay. So I will save this as a variant for your reference. Okay. Now time profile. Okay. So the same time profile is assigned under the step also, but the generic type profile for reference. So this becomes a parent time profile, maybe 3 months of time profile that you want to run it for. But the planning with standard lot, that is the planning heuristic you want to run for 3 months, but the scheduling maybe you want to run for only 2 weeks. So you can select a time